News Leader 9's Tyrone McCoy is live at the City Services building where that meeting is underway. And Tyrone, the debate is really about responsibility here. It's a brutal crime from 10 years ago. A 64-year-old woman murdered inside her Columbus home. You don't want to go outside today like this. You want to go outside like this. Here we're taking you back to a live look at the storm damage from this morning in Salem, Alabama, a trailer park in Lee County, Alabama, near the Russell County-Lee County border.
It doesn't take a strong tornado to cause that kind of damage.
That's right. And I was reading something earlier this morning that talked about protecting your eyes.
Absolutely.
So, shades.
Yes,
Talk about that for us.
First on, I mean, right out of the gate, kids especially. As our eyes grow, and those are great looking sunglasses.
Oh, thank you. I thought in honor of National Mammography Day, I'll step up to the plate and actually go through and have a mammogram done live so I can tell women how important it is. That's what you want? Okay.
Okay.
All right.
I want $2,000.
Columbus Mayor Teresa Tomlinson joins us now after last night's win. I know it's been a busy 5 months on the campaign trail. So do you have anything to say to the voters in Columbus? If you don't have thousands to dish out, at least pay mom in love and hugs and kisses. So how much do you think that added up to be?
I don't know. I think she got shortchanged.
Let's see. That was about $45,000.
Not enough.
In our Pet of the Week segment, we want to introduce you to Snow White. Snow White was rescued from animal care and control in Columbus and is looking for a happy home.
Beautiful day in the neighborhood.
Beautiful day in the neighborhood.
A beautiful
day in the neighborhood.
Would you be mine?
I think I'm going to keep my day job. So thanks for joining us. Have a great afternoon.
You said it, not me.
Now, in high definition, coverage you can count on. This is WTVM News Leader 9.
Welcome to News Leader 9 at noon. I'm Cheryl. Renee, thanks so much for joining us today. Happening now, Tropical Storm Andrea is moving up the eastern seaboard. Forecasters predict it will pose a serious risk for flash flooding as it moves up the coast. Ben Williamson is in Hilton Head Island in South Carolina with the latest on the storm damage there. New details today on the 5 people arrested in an undercover sting operation that led to a meth bust in Columbus. Christopher Carver, Bran Hartnair, Kayla Price, Keisha Campbell, and Jennifer Howes are all behind bars and charged with possession and use of drug-related objects after officers swarmed the extended stay on Armour Road Thursday afternoon. They found 6 ounces of meth, some hydrocodone, marijuana, and 4 guns. A Columbus family is outraged after armed thieves invaded their home and held a young child at gunpoint. The victim says the men broke into her home and forced her into a bathroom, then put a gun to a child's head and demanded money. The victim's family believes her ex-boyfriend may have hired the men because of comments he made leading up to the assault. So far, police are not saying if he is a suspect. The child was not hurt. Meanwhile, to our north in Clay County, Kentucky, a deadly medical helicopter crash kills 3 crew members. Authorities say they had just dropped off a patient at a hospital in London, Kentucky, when the chopper went down. According to transportation officials, fog may have been a factor, but the cause is under investigation. As a Navy SEAL, he served his country with honor and bravery, but now he is showing courage by living as the woman he felt he has always been. Former Navy SEAL Team 6 member Christopher Todd Beck is now Kristen Beck. It's been a long journey for her as she's written a book about her experience in the hope that it will help others. She is speaking out now about the conflict of hiding her true self. Kristen's book comes almost 3 years after the Department of Defense repealed its Don't Ask, Don't Tell policy, allowing gays and lesbians to serve openly in the military. Transgendered men and women are still banned from service. As a woman, Kristen would not be allowed to serve today. It's the 4th day of filming for the movie Need for Speed in Columbus, and despite the rain Thursday, a flaming car was flipped over the side of the bridge. So just how is this impacting local businesses and traffic? Well, if you stop by Philosophy during lunchtime, it's pretty much standing room only from the crowd of people heading downtown to watch the action. The 13th Street Bridge will remain closed until tomorrow at noon as the crew finishes filming. And now is your chance to be on the big screen. There is a casting call for Need for Speed. For information on how you can sign up to be an extra, go to our website, WTVM.com, and click on the Quick Links tab. It's cloudy outside right now and more rain is headed this way. Kelly Bryan is here to tell us when we can expect it to get wet.
Well, of course, we saw all the rain yesterday. It felt very tropical outside.
Oh,
Everybody kept saying it's so humid.
Yes.
Well, guess what? That's what happens when a tropical system moves through.
It's the word tropical, right?
Weird, right? But if you're from here, come on.
It's felt like summer for a while.
Yeah, it's like March.
Exactly. Thanks, Kelly. Well, a woman training for a marathon has a surprise delivery, and she didn't even know she was pregnant. That story is straight ahead. Plus, the unique story of a homeless teenager who gets accepted into an Ivy League college. Hear his story of success when we come back. A Minnesota woman goes into labor shortly after finishing a 10-mile run, but the problem was she had no idea she was pregnant. This is Trish Staines' daughter named Miracle. She was born Monday afternoon. Staines says she had terrible back pain following her run Sunday, thinking it was a pulled muscle, so she went to the hospital. That's when doctors told her the news and delivered the baby. The stunned mom, who already has 2 kids, says she didn't have any of the usual telltale signs. And to add to the shock factor, her husband had a vasectomy about 4 years ago. We've made it to Friday. Now it's time for fun. What to do, what to do. Well, let's ask Shelby Guest from the Columbus Convention and Visitors Bureau as we kick off the event zone. Happy Friday, Shelby.
I think it's like, let's ask Mr. Owl.
Yeah, right,
Let's see what
exactly.
he's- well, and I do have some good stuff. It's just, as usual, there's all kinds of stuff going on.
Right.
The tour of gardens this weekend. We got Georgia on My Mind Day still happening at the Welcome
Okay.
Center till 2. Concert in Uptown tomorrow night. There's popcorn.
Hey.
I'm coming.
I know,
I'm there.
that's right.
Bring it on. Let's
Just
watch.
for
How
the
many
popcorn.
movies can we watch?
Exactly. All right. Thank you so much, Shelby
You're
Guest, for
welcome.
being here, and have a great weekend.
You do the same.
Thank you. And coverage you can count on will continue with the forecast. Right now, let's take a look at Columbus Park Crossing from our Alpha Insurance Skycam at Ashley Furniture Home Store. Temperature 76 degrees. Stay with News Leader 9 at noon. It was a call that even shocked dispatchers.
I told the operator, I said, this is Mayor Wright.
A 911 call from the mayor saying,
I've been shot down at my home.
I am elated this day.
24-year-old Christopher Wright is one of the youngest mayors in Georgia. A feat that didn't come easy, but nothing compared to what he would face Halloween night as he arrived at his family's home.
Saw someone bust out of the door, and they got my attention by crying, hey.
2 masked gunmen ambushed Wright.
And they opened fire on me 4 times. I was shocked, I was stunned, I couldn't believe it. I was like, this is how I'm gonna die?
Clinging to life, Wright cries for help.
After crying out a couple of times, I heard footsteps running back toward me. And the gunman, he came and he stood over me and he shot me twice more.
A neighbor came to his rescue.
He grabbed me up in his arms and he said, Chris, my God, what have they done to you?
Wright was rushed to the hospital where he spent 24 days and another 2 weeks in rehab. He later found out his mom was inside the home and was beaten. She is physically fine. However, the emotional wounds for both are far from healing.
I do live in fear. I do. The assailants have not been caught, and I have no idea who this was.
And according to Wright, neither does the GBI. He says when it comes to the investigation, he often feels like he's the suspect instead of the victim.
They interrogate me as if I brought this on myself. They implied maybe I was involved in some kind of illegal drugs or some sort of love triangle, and I thought that was just a bit absurd.
With 1 bullet still lodged in him, Wright has a long road to recovery. It's still hard for Wright to look at pictures from his days in the hospital, and it's not just a wounded mayor you see. You're looking at a miracle.
I would like to imagine that the Lord dispatched his angels to come and patch me up and put me back on the battlefield, and I'm ready.
In Columbus, Cheryl Renee, WTVM News Leader 9.
Went inside. So do another one, Casey, real fast.
Coach Doug Blevins has an eye for kicking. Just ask Casey Hess.
You got it. Keep that head down now.
I just started like 5 weeks ago. I didn't know anything.
Now he's kicking field goals. Then there's Casey Stewart, the only female on her football team, who comes from Griffin, Georgia, to get a lesson from the coach.
Nice, much better.
Oh, he's a character. He doesn't make it like, hard or anything like that. It's really fun and, it keeps you going.
You see, the interesting thing about Coach Blevins is that he's never walked or kicked a football.
Well, I've got cerebral palsy, so I never could actually play the game. And I love football from the time I was 4 years old.
And that passion led him to the NFL as a kicking consultant for teams like the New York Jets and Miami Dolphins. Now he started a kicking school in Buena Vista, working with athletes like A.J. Wells, an 8th grader at Marion County High School.
Right there. There you go. See that?
It took him only 10 minutes to fix some serious problems I had, so It's pretty amazing.
But it took a little longer when it came to my problems.
When you hit the ball, Cheryl, you want your knee locked.
I actually tried my hand at kicking. Coach worked with me, and even though the ball never made it through the uprights, I did get better. And that's why Cash Kiefer made the trip from Maine to Georgia.
I come down here just training 3 to 4 days a week with Coach, and hopefully get a shot in a training camp.
Life's tough, and I hope that what I do can inspire people to be better people, try to be more successful in whatever they decide to go into.
That's why we salute Coach Doug Blevins as our News 9 leader. Cheryl Renee, WTVM News Leader 9.